Welcome to the edification system of the GKSA. It originated from a need to edify or train elders, but has evolved to be suitable for a much wider audience. Each module in the system contains a group discussion to ground and apply the principles taught in the module in the specific culture and context of the group. The aim of this message is to share the background for that group discussion as well as the Socratic method recommended to be used. Another similar message is available that focuses on the general background for the training method and the format of the material in each module. It might be best to first watch that message before this one. To put the group discussion in perspective, I want to share a short overview of the format in each module. Every module has the same format. It starts with a jump start of where the module fits into the bigger picture, as well as the objective of the module itself. Also included in the jump start is the reference of the applicable portions from the Bible and other sources like the Confessions of Faith. Next is the jump-in section, in which a subject expert teaches the principles of the matter on hand. Although the jump start and the jump-in is intended for personal study, it can also be presented in groups. Then follows the jump-out group discussion, which is the focus of this message. After the jump-out follows a section on more reading, which contains references for further reading for those that is interested and called to study the topic in more detail. Finally, there is a sermon outline section, which contains a sermon outline on one of the Bible references in the Jumpstart section as a guideline to elders in some churches who are called to prepare their own sermons. Let's return our focus now to the jump-out group discussion. The GKSA consists of churches from various cultures and contexts. There are vast differences in application and practices between churches from different languages like Afrikaans and isiZulu and Tshivenda, Setswana and others. There are also significant differences in the same language churches from different circumstances like rural or city congregations. In contrast, the biblical principles are the same for all churches. This is why the jump start and the jump in portions of each module focuses only on the principles. It is distributed in different languages, initially starting only with English and Afrikaans, but the content itself is identical for all cultural and contextual settings. For the edification to be effective in the local congregation, with a specific culture and context, the jump-out group discussion is absolutely critical. The aim of the discussion is to bridge the gap from principle to practice, to apply the principle in the specific culture and the context of the group. To gain the most from the discussion, it is strongly recommended to use a question-based discussion similar to the Socratic method. In the jump-out section of each module, a set of questions is given to start the discussion and to guide it towards application and deeper reflection. The aim is to guide the group with questions to a deep thinking of the principles and its application in different circumstances, but specifically in the culture and the context of the group. The facilitator directs the discussion with questions to guide the group to think deeply about applying the principles from the jump start and the jump in sections in their specific circumstances. The facilitator does not give a lecture or model answers to the questions, but guide the group with targeted questions and hints sometimes asking the question in a different or a simpler or a more directional manner so that the group can discover the applications for themselves. During the discussion, the facilitator confirms the correct understanding of the jump start and the jump in teaching, and if necessary refer the group back to it and then restate a question in light of that review. Boundaries of application can be challenged by stating different scenarios and question how the application of the same principles could then vary. Probing questions can lead towards a deeper understanding of the implications of the principles and the limitations of specific applications. To test a full comprehension and to stimulate critical thinking, the questions should not be such that it could be answered directly from material given in the earlier sections. The questions should go beyond, or at least be at the edge of that material where the principal thinking is almost then pulled beyond the habits and the comfort zones. If the question is too far from reality for the group, then bring it closer to the given material, just to stretch it out again in smaller steps. Different types of questions could be asked to clarify understanding and to probe assumptions and reasons, to confirm evidence and perspectives, as well as to clarify and implications and the consequences. Such a Socratic discussion does take more time than telling the group what the traditional application is, but it stimulates critical thinking and in considering the implications and the applications of the principles in different cultural and contextual settings. Participants could be uncomfortable at least until the method of discussion is understood through experience of more modules. Care should be taken to assist participants to be successful in their responses, even if this means that the question is simplified again and again until a good response is achieved. From there, one can then gradually build up again, step by step, with other participants. Members in the group would be at different levels of understanding and experience, also with different levels of courage to participate. The facilitator should ask simpler questions to those less experienced in order to draw them into the participation and then build on the response to broaden and deepen the discussion. When a participant gives a wrong answer or go off on a tangent, they should not be rebuked, but refocused through guiding questions. This does take more time, but it ensures more learning and it maintains their participation. Be careful not to make the group too big so that everybody could not participate actively. Remember, without active participation, the growth of the individual is hampered. Let me close by reminding you that it is easy and quickly and comfortable to lecture, but participants rarely grow to maturity in considering the applications of principles. The success of edification does not primarily lie in sharing the knowledge, but in grounding it through critical thinking of application in the group's culture and context. This jump-out group discussion is like a hinge on which the door of successful edification swings open. And for that, the Socratic method of question-directed thinking is strongly recommended. May your application be of great benefit to the groups that you facilitate, and to the congregation, and to the kingdom of our Lord.